Hello everyone, welcome. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be modeling this fun thing. So this is just a knick-knack, but it is made out of some cool kind of geometry. It is what we call a dodecahedron, but it also has pyramids on the end. And it's made out of wire. So it's going to kind of show a few different geometric fun tricks and stuff that we can do using Rhino and some modifiers in Blender, and also talk about some things that happen when we export from Rhino and bring FBX files into Blender. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with a blank slate here. And I'm in perspective with the grid from the top down. And I'm going to draw a polygon. And that polygon I'm going to do is going to be edge related. So I click on edge, and I'm going to do 1.25 because that's my dimension, 1.25 inches. Number of 5, 1.25, enter. Okay, and just to kind of make sure, you notice I've got a straight edge here, which I like, that matches up with my, my grid here, and I've got my object snap on an ortho on here. So next I want to make this into a surface, and I'm going to just extrude the curve up and explode it to break it into pieces, and then delete the top. And that leaves just that one surface and a curve here, which I will delete the curve. Okay. And then next we're going to use a tool called 3D Rotate. Or Rotate 3D. So let's rotate 3D. Select the object to rotate. Enter. Surface normal. Okay. And then I'm going to select an axis point from here to here. And then I'm going to kind of pull out this way. And then I'm going to make sure copy is set to yes here. And then it says angle of reference point. And we're going to do 116 degrees, D for degrees, 34 apostrophe. Enter. All right. And enter again to get out of the command. I'm going to hit Z, enter, S, enter to zoom in on my selected object. Okay. So those measurements are the angles, the draft angles for a dodecahedron. So I just looked it up online, and geometry, great. So we'll do it again. Enter brings up that same oh, let's go ahead and do it again. Rotate 3D, select my object, enter, angle from there to there. And then I can just hit enter to use the same measurement, and then enter again to get out. And we want to check our edges. Okay, so sometimes also these edges are nice, but we have a bit of a rounding error, if you will. So you want to go to maybe your file properties here, and on this specific one, make sure your absolute tolerances under units is set to 0.001 inches so that you have a finer tolerance to make sure that everything gets really nice and accurate. Because all of these edges have to align just right. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate 3D again, axis point to axis point, and make sure you're getting those endpoints. So the snaps are important. Enter, enter. Enter for the same command. And I'm going to go from this point to this point. And then enter, enter. And then I'm going to go from this point to this point. And then I'll hit enter, enter. Okay, so it's looking good so far. And I'm going to go ahead and join together the outside edges here, because if they join together, that means I've got something right. Okay, and then I'll join this one. All right, so it's all one piece now. And I joined the outside ones because if there was an area where the lines didn't match up, it would be that outside area. So if it's not joining for you, start over. Next, we want to mirror it from a front view to bring it to the top. So I'm going to go from one of these tippies to the other tippy. Okay, back to perspective. And of course, they're not aligned, so we need to figure out how to rotate this. So in order to rotate it to fit, you basically have to figure out how many sides, divide that by by 360 degrees, and then divide that in half. So if you do that math, 72 divided by 2 is 36. So we click on the top with the gumball on. Make sure you've got your gumball turned on. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit this one and do 36, enter. And then move from the tip using the move command, not the gumball, from the tip to there. Okay, and then let's join them back together here. Perfect. Okay, so that is how to make a dodecahedron. Pretty cool. And it looks right. So from there, we are going to go ahead and start building out our pyramid shapes. Okay, so now we have to put pyramids on each one of these edges here. So the way we do that is, you guessed it, with the pyramid command. Make sure that you've got the number of sides set to 5, and then mode will be inscribed. Starting off with the top one here, that should be the easiest one. I'm going to just draw lines from this point here to this point here so that I've got a nice center mark. Because some of these faces, the center mark is going in a weird direction. So let's just go ahead and use that one. So then I'm going to type pyramid, and I'm going to do inscribed, and I'm going to find my midpoint on that and rotate it around until it locks. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to do another line. So a line this way, and then a line from this to there. So that way I should have the midpoint. And then I can go pyramid and find that intersection. And that, yeah, that's going to give me what I want. Okay, so it takes 2 lines. And then click, and then we go this direction, 3, enter. Oops, it needed to be -3. Pyramid, intersection to there, -3, enter. And if you're going the wrong way, that's what you got to do. All right, and then let's go ahead and do the one on the bottom, or I guess that's the top, because it seems like if I had to go negative that time, then that was the top. So then we go line from here to there, and then a line from here to there. So that gives me my center right there. And then pyramid from that midpoint intersection, and click over here, and then we go 3, enter. Okay. So now how do we do the ones on the funky sides? We set a C-plane. So now we go ahead and go to C-planes, and this one here, set C-plane to object, and we'll click on this one. And then we draw a line, just like we did before, from there to there, and then from this point to that point. And then we do pyramid, and we find our intersection, straight up, and then 3, enter. Okay. And I'll do a couple more of them just to make sure that we're on the same page. Set the C-plane to there. Draw a line. Here to there. And then from there to there. And then pyramid. There to there. And then up 3. Okay. And as long as they're going the right direction, you're good. Otherwise, just remember, you might have to do negative. So if you have to redo it, redo it. Okay, so I'm going to speed up and just do the rest of them. All right, so that gives us our shape here. And then we set our C-plane back to our top view just to get it back where we want. And then looking at this, I did forget to mention that when I did the pyramid, I already had it set up, but number of sides is 5, just so you know. But yeah, so hopefully you're not running into any issues with that. Now we've got it the way we want, but we want to also make sure that it's rotated the correct direction. So I'm going to go ahead and do rotate 3D. And I'm going to rotate all of my objects, enter, and then I'm going to select this object here and this to there. And I'm going to switch to a right view. Oops. You know, I'm just going to do regular rotate, but I'm going to eyeball it kind of. I'm trying to get it flat, basically. And then go to a front view. Yeah, so front and right, if they both look okay, then you should be okay. So that way it'll sit on a shelf. Okay, so then we just create a new layer and we call it wire sculpt. And we go ahead and bring that into, well, Boolean union it all together first. Boolean union. And if it doesn't want a Boolean union, sometimes you got a Boolean union a couple of. Well, if it doesn't want a Boolean union, what do? We Boolean can't do edges to edges. So let me just hide. And then Boolean union these two together. Undo, undo, undo. Hide. So if I Boolean this to this, it should work. And then this to this. The problem is it doesn't want a Boolean because these edges are right on top of each other. But if I am Booleaning it to that center, it doesn't matter anymore. So just one at a time. Yeah, Booleaning can be a little finicky. Okay, bring back that one we hid. And Boolean. Okay, so now it's all one piece, right? Yeah. And then I'll just left to right select to delete all of the lines that I've got in there. And then I'm going to change the object layer here and bring it into my other file. So just make sure your units are set up right. Go to properties, units. If it's in inches, change it to feet because that's what we've got our architectural model in. Save this and then Control C to copy it. Okay. Okay, and we want to put it right here on this shelf. So we go ahead and go Control V, paste it, and it puts it right on the point of the very front over there. So we go Z, enter, S, enter to zoom on the selected. But that's basically our origin point. So now I can go to a top view in wireframe. You can change it to wireframe if you don't have it as wireframe. And then I go M for move, grab my little tippy point, and zoom out and in and in and out. And then I'm going to put it right there. Go back to my front of the house, Z, enter, S, enter, and then just kind of move it. Move, enter, grab that front point, put it right here on the center there. And then let's move it back into space a little bit. Okay. So then we're going to bring this into Rhino. So we'll export this as an FBX file, export selected, FBX. Boom. Call it wire sculpt and save it. I can use few polygons because I don't need a lot because it's flat. Organic stuff, you need more. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring it into Blender. And I'll open up Blender and we'll get going there. All right, so let's go ahead over here and delete this one because we're going to do it again. So let's go File, Import, FBX, and find our FBXs, which we've got right here, Wire Sculpt, Import. All right. So let's focus. Ooh. Make sure we just have this select. Okay. So when we bring things in from other programs, especially things that have edges that meet each other based off of other objects, sometimes you have issues called non-manifold or duplicate edges. And what that does is that basically signifies that the object is not going to perform well when you do this next step. So let me show you. So we're going to add a modifier to this, and it's going to be called wireframe. All right. And exactly what I'm looking at here are these edges that are doubled here. Because basically what it's doing is it's looking at these edges and it's saying, okay, for every edge, I'm going to make a wireframe. So there are multiple edges on top of this thing. So basically what we need to do is we need to go to object mode and clean it up by, no. We got to go to edit mode with everything selected, then go to mesh, clean up, and we go to merge by distance. So this will say if there's two vertices that are on top of each other or close enough to one another, we will merge them together. So merge by distance. Okay. Perfect. So now we only have one edge on each side. We add our wireframe modifier, tab over here to look at it. It looks perfect. All right, and then, if you want it to be a little bit thinner, maybe it's 0.01 instead. I think 0.02 was actually fine. Yeah, 0.015. Okay. So it looks good. And then if we look at it in wireframe, you can see that it does not have a ton of geometry. So then let's go ahead and apply it. Great. So that's how we turn things into wireframe in Blender. So, all right, next we just add our materials and we call it a day here. So let's see, it would be black metal. Okay, boom. And then let's look at it. Actually, let's make a new material here because I want it to be a little bit shinier. So let's go new, call it black metal shine. And the color will be black, of course. The metallicness will be through the roof, and the roughness a little lower. Let's look at it rendered here. Okay, so this object is now ready. Okay, so I've discovered that, I don't want these tips to be so pointy. So I'm going to show a couple of new techniques to make this look even better. So I've imported a sphere here with Shift A, brought in a mesh and sphere right here. And then I scaled it way down to fit about right here. And then I'm using snaps here. So I've got vertex selected here and then snap with center put here. So these two snaps, making sure that the little magnet is on here. And then I'm putting these on the tips. So if I go Shift D, I can duplicate and then it kind of snaps it right there. And then I can kind of pull it up and over to get it to where I want it to be. And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but I do want to kind of Boolean difference out those tips. So this is a little bit of modeling in Blender for you here. Shift D. Okay. Shift D. So what you're going to do is you're going to put all these on, and then you're going to add a modifier. So I'm going to just go ahead and put the rest of these on. All right, so now we've got those little balls at all of the ends there. And we're just going to Boolean difference them out by adding a modifier. So I'm going to select the object. I'm going to add a modifier. And that modifier is going to be Boolean difference. Okay. And we are doing object and object. So I've got the object selected I want to subtract from. And I'm going to go ahead and grab these spheres. So one there. And then let's look at it here real quick. Actually, no. Let's do collection. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just join these together. See if I can make them all one object. Control J. Okay. There we go. Click on this and then do object, eyedropper, select. All right. And then go ahead and apply and then delete. And so what that gives me is these little endpoints on here. I can see some of them are not necessarily exactly what I want, but I think it looks a little bit better, more like the original. So let's pull up the original image. All right, so yeah, you can see with the image here, I've kind of flattened them out. Unfortunately, yeah, the holes in the top aren't exactly what I'm looking for. But overall, I think it looks better than having those real sharp points on them. Then the next step is actually to go ahead and paint it a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is some fun little texture paint. I'm going to add some gold to it. So let's go to texture paint. Let's clear out the background one from last time. Okay. Create a new. And 1024 by 1024 is fine. And then we go ahead and go OK. And then you can see that my object is purple, which basically means that this is not applied to it. So let's go to materials here. Okay, so let's go to materials. Where is... Okay. And we're going to save this image, save as. Then I'll just go ahead and put it right here. Title it wire paint. Save this image. Okay. And then open up under the base color here. We're going to go to image texture, open, wire paint, open. All right. Next we're going to do is go ahead and do a bucket. and black, and go ahead and it's weird because it's like these are a different layer or something. What happens if I go white? Yeah. All right, we can see. All right, where it's going there. Do not know why. There we go. Oh, let me UV unwrap this again. Smart UV project. Okay. All right, better. Now I got to do a new one. Close. New. Image. Save as. Call it this one. Save this image. Okay. Go back to texture paint. And then get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. New. Image texture. Open. Open. All right. That's better. Okay, so it's black already. I don't have to mess with that. I just want to pull out my paintbrush here. And I'm going to create kind of goldish color like that, right? So Control Z, Control Z. Got to change my radius way down. And I'm just going to paint the tips. So yeah, I'm going to come through and I'm going to kind of touch these up a little bit, just on the tips here, just to give them a little bit more visual interest. And then once we're done, always notice this is super, 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 super crucial. Image with the little star next to it means that this is not saved. So you need to make sure you save this when you're done. So that's something that students miss out on all the time, and then they can't figure out why their textures aren't working later. I get a little shrapnel. It's fine. I can always come back in and clean up any areas that I get gold on that I don't want. But this is kind of a fun little process, and you can do this with any model. Okay, let's look at the image again. And then there's also some like right in the middle here. I think I need to actually smaller radius, even a little bigger. All right, so I think it's looking pretty good. You can also see kind of where the gold is going over here, and I think that that really helps to kind of show what is going on with our UV map now. Um, so yeah, there's still some room to clean up, but I think it looks all right. And let's go ahead and bring everything back. Alt H brings everything back, right? Well, first let's go ahead and save this. So let's image, save, boom, done. So now no more star next to it, which means that this image texture has been applied. Great. So let's go back to object mode. And let's go actually back to modeling here and go Alt H to bring everything back. Oh, still in edit mode. Alt H. And go to my this, and then let's go to here. Okay, so this is the photo we took of the object here, and let's compare it to the render. Oh wait, no, that's the render. That's the photo. Okay, not too bad. I think that'll do. So one thing I did actually end up having to change is the render noise threshold here. I did have to move that to 0.05, and I forgot that I didn't have my denoiser turned on. So I did those two things, and these are the render settings in here. And these are the file sizes. So that will do it for this little demo.